In this tutorial, I'll show you how to add light rays to your video footage, just like this, in Adobe Premiere Pro. Alright, to get started, select your clip in the timeline, go to Effects, and search for Volumetric Rays. This is one of the new Film Impact library of effects and transitions available in Premiere Pro since version 25.5. Now you can just double-click the effect right here to add it to your selected clip, or go to Window, Extensions, Film Impact Dashboard, Lights and Blurs, and here you can see little thumbnail previews of all the Film Impact effects, including the Volumetric Rays Effect, if you want to see what they look like before you add them to your video clip. So I'll click Apply here, and over in the Effect Controls panel, we've got our Volumetric Rays Effect and all the controls we'll need to customize our light rays. Now the first thing you'll want to do here is to set the light position. You can set the X and Y coordinates right here in the Effect Controls panel, or just grab the crosshairs in the program monitor and set it that way. Now I'm going to exaggerate everything here a little bit, so it's a little easier for you to see how each of the other controls work, and I'll clean things up at the end. Intensity adjusts the overall strength of the rays. I'll drag that up to around 90%. Ray length controls how far the light beams travel from the light position we set just a second ago. Highlights only is basically a threshold control. If you increase this value, the effect looks for brighter parts of your image to generate the light beams. If you decrease it, the beams will start appearing in the midtones and shadows of your video as well. Softness is pretty obvious. The higher the value, the softer your light rays. Edge rays controls how much of the light rays are generated from the edges of bright areas versus the entire bright region. Volumetric fog adds a hazy, smoky texture to the beams, so they don't look like flat digital lines. I find that setting the fog size pretty low and the fog speed a little higher gives the best results. And it might not be obvious right away how this fog looks, but if you keep an eye on the right side of this clip over here, and I give that a play, it's pretty cool. Caustics adds a shimmer to your light rays, basically breaking up the beams so they look like they're passing through water or uneven glass. I'm not going to use caustics for this clip, I prefer it without, and I already have the fog going on. Color adds a tint to the light rays themselves. Now to see any color results, you have to increase the colorize value. Vibrance increases the intensity of the light ray colors, similar to increasing saturation, but in a more refined, natural way. Desaturate is basically the opposite. It removes color from the light rays. I'll leave that one at 0. Chromatic aberration is a fun one. It adds color separation along the light rays, splitting the RGB values, kind of like what you'd see on old film or VHS tapes. Blend mode determines how the light rays are combined with your footage. Additive adds brightness values and creates stronger, harsher, blown-out highlights. Screen, on the other hand, blends brightness values and preserves details better. It generally looks a little softer and more natural. The last control here, source opacity, just sets the opacity of the original clip. So I'm going to dial back a couple of these settings and make these light rays a little more subtle and realistic. Let's play that, and that looks pretty good. But you can also keyframe animate all these parameters. So just for fun, let's animate the light position. I'll hit the stopwatch at the first frame to add a keyframe, move forward a bit in the timeline, move those crosshairs up a bit, then drag that keyframe to the end of the clip. And now when I play that, the light rays kind of pan across the room. And you can see here for the forest clip I used in the intro to this video, I animated several of the effect controls so the light rays would grow and intensify as the camera pans. And for the shot of the guy on the stairwell, I added a green tint to match the trim on the walls. And since this was a handheld shot, I keyframe animated the light position to move with the window, which makes the light rays dance around really nicely. Alright, that's it for this one. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a nice comment.